On to some Indigenous issues now, in particular the kerfuffle over Australia Day. I'm joined on set by Indigenous leader, former Liberal Party candidate Warren Mundine. Thanks for joining us, Warren.
Oh, my pleasure.
Former Labor Party national president too. You're bipartisanship in one body. Now,
I am.
Warren, tell me about the Inner West City Council in Sydney. We flagged this last week that they are looking at shifting their festivities from Australia Day. They've had their vote. They're going to do that. So no more jollies and celebrations and community festivals around Australia Day.
Look, this is a disappointing move by the local government area. We need to have an Australia Day that everyone comes together, everyone celebrates this great nation of ours, which we have a great nation. And yes, there are some things that need to continue to be done, and as we both know, we talk about the voice to Parliament and so on. But it's look, I think this idea of actually these councils, that just go away and do their own thing when we're looking at national celebrations and about the greatness of our country that we have here. We're probably one of the most non-racist, human rights, economic strong countries in the world, and we've been able to bring a whole wide range of people together. First Australians, of course, and then immigrants and the British systems that we have here, and I think these are things for us to celebrate.
Yeah, there is so much to celebrate. Everything that we've done and achieved, we've achieved together, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, and everybody is sharing in that now. We all know there are problems with disadvantage. We all know that there were some terrible things done in the past. But surely we need to focus on what we've achieved together and what we can do together.
And look, for Australia, I don't think we've ever been in a better situation than we are today. Like the first 13 years of my life, I grew up under the Aboriginal Welfare Act here in New South Wales, and it was very restrictive, and those things have disappeared. You know, you're looking at all a tremendous amount of people who have gone for university now. There's thousands of them. Yes, there could be more, but we need to work on that. We need to work at the employment stuff. We need to look at the economic development of communities and education and that to go forward. But everyone in Australia are really working together to make sure these things can happen.
I just wonder where this is going to end up, though, Warren, because you've got so many councils and other organisations shifting events from Australia Day. They don't want to celebrate on this day. Now, we have NAIDOC Week and we have National Apology Day. We have days where we quite rightly not just reflect on the good things about Aboriginal communities, but we reflect on the bad things that have happened in the past and say sorry. Whatever day then we choose to celebrate Australia, someone's going to complain about it, yes, saying that the very fact that there is a country called Australia means there was dispossession. So where do we end up? Why can't we just celebrate together on some day in a way that includes everyone?
Well, you look at, we just had the 11th of the 11th, you know, about recognising the veterans and everyone who served in all the wars around the world and fought for the society that we live today, the incredible liberal democratic society we have, and the recognition of Indigenous soldiers and sailors and men and women who served in those services has finally come through, and we're moving together to heal those wounds and to make things happen. And look, an Anzac Day is the same. We've got the marches and we've got Indigenous people involved and front and centre and all that stuff. This is what we need to do today. And you are right. No matter what day you put it on, it's not going to make anyone happy.
Now, I want to ask you about the Indigenous voice to government, a controversial issue. As you know, that I joined the advisory group to government yesterday, the first meeting in Canberra. This is a debate that's going to keep going. You were cited today in The Australian by Greg Sheridan as someone who's opposed a divisive issue here, but you actually support a voice, don't you?
Yeah, well, we broke bread just last night, and I had a very good discussion with that committee that's been set up, the Conservative thing.
Uphold and recognise.
Yeah, that's right. And the amazing people that's working in that, and looking at how we need to do things. My comments is in regard to looking at that regional approach to things, which is about recognise an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander culture, because we do have this area that people only can speak for country, are the traditional owners in those areas, and then building upon that into the framework of a national body. Now, I think people get a bit confused about my attitude to this. I think that what the government's doing, I think the people they've appointed to that committee, and even you too, Chris, has been a really good move. The co-chairs are really good people. I think there's a lot of things that can be done over the next couple of years leading up to the next election that we can move forward on this issue.
Yeah, look, you can forgive everybody for being confused because there have been so many proposals and things knocked down and changes. But anyway, there's going to be a plan going forward. As you say, I'm involved, but a lot of other people will be involved. And the idea is just so that Aboriginal people who do have laws made for them by the federal government will have some vehicle to make their views known directly to government. Is that
That's correct, and that will come from, and the model that I'm looking at is that will come from the people on the ground, the traditional owner people who speak for country. It'll move up into the national body, and the national body then can have these conversations in regard to this. And this is one of the things that have been missing in the past about the hierarchy at the top and the bottom, and that's why it's been so easy for governments to knock these bodies off. And they've also lost. To be quite honest, you look at ADSIC and how it lost its path and all that stuff. So this is the way to keep it honest, is to keep it the proper approach to this thing and hearing what people are really saying on the ground. Now, I think this is a great way to move forward. It's probably a model for a lot of other areas in that as well. We've just seen the fires and the people on the ground, the firefighters, are saying their voices aren't being heard, and the farmers and all that. So we need to work on better ways of actually involving people in these processes.
All right, I'm going to keep talking about it. As you know, at home, I'm never shy about sharing my opinion, but I'll continue to talk to people who are in favour of this and opposed to it. You'll get all sides of the debate, but I just wanted to get Warren's thoughts and find out exactly where you were on it at the moment, Warren. And you mentioned the fires, another issue I want to raise with you. You spent a lot of time in northern New South Wales and other country areas of New South Wales. You know a lot about the Indigenous heritage with fire and contemporary fire issues. What are your thoughts on so many people now talking about climate change and somehow we should be taking climate action to fight the fires?
Well, the first thing we've got to get through is the fire now. I had my family, cousins and my auntie spoke to me the other day. They were up at Bayugal, which is up the Clarence Valley. They were surrounded by fires and they had to go out there with the farmers, talk about reconciliation, working together to fight those fires and to get an outcome. The issue, I just find it bizarre that we've got the CSIRO now who are working with Aboriginal traditional owner groups who have that knowledge of fire management and of those thousands of years of doing things, and we've got this modern technology and modern science we have now, which is just amazing that we can work with this stuff and really work to prevention and dealing with these fires. You can't stop all fires, but you'll be able to handle them and deal with them. And yet we have these stupid arguments, and we've seen the Greens yesterday with some of this nonsense. And we need to get the politics out of it and to actually say, okay, we got this knowledge. How did these people survive thousands of years in Australia? Went through ice ages, rising and lowering of the seas, inland lakes coming and going, and everything like that, and dealing with a continent that is a fire continent. And so how did they survive that stuff? And then bringing that in and adding this modern technology, the modern science that we have, I think we can deal with it. But we need to have honest, truth discussions about this stuff instead of this nonsense that's going on with these arguments.
It's essentially about managing fuel load, right?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's very simple. It's about managing fuel and how you do the burn-offs and how you handle all that stuff. And some of the other stuff, I was listening to some people commenting today, some farmers and that, because of this drought, and it is a really dreadful drought we're having, why that's playing into it. People seem to dismiss that. And also it's about, how we can utilise the land management we have. Why can't we let the animals on the farming animals into some of these areas to help with reducing that foliage and everything that's there, as well as stopping them from starving.
Yeah, good point, Warren. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Warren Mundine.